Avowed, a game fans have been waiting for many years now, failed to meet their expectations. Many thought this was going to be either a Skyrim killer or a game similar to Skyrim. However, both sides were ultimately wrong. In today's video, I'll be going in depth to what went wrong with Avowed. Before I begin, I'd appreciate if you could subscribe, as it does help the channel a lot. But other than that, let's just get straight into it. I completed Avowed a few days ago. I spent around a total of 19 hours playing it. I did a lot of side quests. I got the best weapons. I got the best armor in the game. I unlocked a lot of abilities, but honestly, this game wasn't as good as we thought it would be. Or maybe that's just me. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed playing it at times, but not all the time, especially with the side quests, the main quest, and also the dialogues, which is completely boring. I mean, many had doubts about this game before it launched. If you saw on Twitter, you would see Obsidian Entertainment's art director Matt Hansen and how he was throwing a fuss on Twitter with Elon and all that stuff. And as you can see from this picture from this Steam page, this is not what you want from a game, you know. You want it to be like a fantasy game where you can enjoy and you have like no limitations, you have freedom, you get to be a good or bad guy. So I don't get what they were trying to do by presenting this game in a very bad way on Twitter, because clearly it didn't do well when it launched. On Twitch, it had like 15k views on the first day, around 15k, 20k, same with Steam. And now as I'm doing this video, here's the results. So I really don't get what Matt Hansen, the art director, which plays a big role in the game, and then he does this. I mean, presentation is important when it comes to a game, and when you fail at that, fans are either gonna lose interest or have doubts about the game's success. I mean, I was streaming around 2 hours per day on Twitch playing Avowed, and playing the game felt more like a chore, honestly, rather than me having genuine fun. Character customization is an interesting topic. Obviously, people like to feel immersed when it comes to dressing up as themselves, dressing up as a fictional character or IRL character. It's all on you, you know. There's no like specifically you need to be that character. But when it comes to character customization, it plays a big role in RPG games. Whether it's from the clothing or customizing the character, it's all important for players to feel immersed in their own way. Sadly, Avowed failed miserably at this. When I saw the screenshots on Twitter and saw the comments, I felt glad knowing we all felt the same with how awful Avowed's character customization looks like. I couldn't find anything good to go with. I'm not even joking. Like, here's just me going around, and then at the end of the day, I just picked the old man, aka Master Sensei Wo. Yeah, that says a lot. The intro of Avowed. The first 30 minutes of Avowed was honestly decent. Me personally, I felt like sleeping throughout the entire start of the game since there wasn't much going on in terms of the dialogue and the cutscene. You know, it was just all so boring. Like, I mean, I know like you crash into an area like an island, and then you wake up, you meet this other guy called Derek my man, and then you'll just go around trying to escape this island, find this boat, meet this lady who's in a cage, either help her or ditch her, and then just escape. Like, there wasn't much going on at the start of the game. Usually there's like a lot of stuff going on, you know, like maybe a boss fight instantly at the start, or like some cool cutscenes where they're like full fighting and all that. But it just felt so slow paced and like boring. But okay, maybe that's just me though for this part. Dialogues, side quest, and main quest. Let's start off with dialogues. My god, I'll be honest with you guys, I've played games with a lot of yapping. Skyrim, The Outer Worlds. Like, when I mean yapping, it's pure yapping, but not yapping as in skip the whole thing. Like, I'm not even joking. This game heavily lacks good dialogue. The responses of NPCs feel so dry and out of place, along with even your companions' responses. When you choose perception, you don't get any XP or extra choices in terms of dialogue, which would usually give you a different dialogue choice when you're doing a quest or anything. But in this game, clearly they didn't bother with that. Even when you go up against a boss like Lord 1, your conversations with her are generally boring, that you would most likely skip her dialogue just like any NPC's dialogue. I don't skip her dialogue though, because I mean the character design was cool, but the rest were mostly skipped, including the Separal, that god, which mostly either yaps or complains, and that is really annoying. I'm not even joking. Whenever you go to sleep and camp and all that, or when you're in a cutscene, they always complain and yap. It's truly annoying, and you know, I had to skip all that. The side quest in this game is really boring. I remember playing the Outer Worlds, and the side quest in that game is honestly fun. Not all of it, of course, but I did enjoy doing it from time to time. Whereas in Avowed, it just isn't fun at all, nor does it feel rewarding enough to do these side quests, which is all the way across the map. Maybe they should have added like a transportation, like a horse or something, just to like go around the map, because you have to go and find these beacons first and then fast travel, which is annoying. But yeah, the side quests were pretty boring. Storyline, it plays a big part in any game, movie. Like you could have the best actors in it, the best graphics, animation, quality, budget, but if the story overall isn't good enough, you lose everybody basically. So that's the problem with Avowed, is that the main quests were a complete snooze fest. I only remember the intro where we have to escape that place where we crashed the ship into. We meet Derek, we escape, then we meet Lord 1, either help the Separal or not, and then kill Lord 1. Like, that's basically the gist of it. You know, there's no like in-between details and proper companion storytelling, or even yourself. It just doesn't feel like a good story at all. More like you're just playing it just to play it. I mean, don't get me wrong, what I do like is the multiple endings in the game. That's a feature I always like, so I'll give props to that. Your choices affect the main quest, so that's the only good thing I like. Other than that, the entire story is completely boring. So yeah, the different endings and where the choices affect your endings, that's what I like. But the main quest overall is pretty mid. Map design is really good. The only issue I had was the fog covering it. I was never a fan of games forcing you to go to every part of the map just for it to be cleared on the map. Like when you check the map and then everything is clearly fogged, and then you're like, oh, like what, like how does the map look? And then you have to go around the entire map, halfway around the city or wherever, and then it looks halfway cleared while the rest of the map is still covered in fog. I never understood that feature, and for Avowed, having a feature where you can enable or disable it would have been nice. But hey, we can thank the mods for that, right? The limitations in this game is atrocious. I seriously don't get why pickpocketing or shooting random NPCs aren't a feature. I mean, why have different endings that will affect the game's areas and make NPCs turn against you a thing later and not allow you to kill them whenever? Pickpocketing has always been a fun feature in video games, to me at least, because of a certain NPC will either have trash loot or high tier value loot, and that has a low chance of you getting that high tier loot, which makes it even more worth risking to get, unless you increase your stealth skills, of course. Not allowing players to pickpocket or shoot whoever, even if it's your own companions, ruins it completely. Or even if you're doing a side quest and if you shoot the person who gave you the side quest and then you die, that would have been a cool feature, you know, like they said you failed this quest and then you can carry on. So yeah, the limitations in this game is atrocious. Movement, I don't have really much to say besides it being very boring. Like, I know there's a mod for it, but the movement isn't bad or good. It's just not something I can really worth discussing in depth because it's meh, you know, it's like a 4 or 5 out of 10. So yeah, the movement wasn't that bad, but maybe they could have added more cooler animations, like if you get a legendary sword and with the perk you can do like cool, like a fire blasting, like something like that, like, you know, like with a gun or something. So just having all the weapons regardless of their quality, all the same animations, is pretty lazy work. weapons and armor designs. I'm not a fan of this game's weapons and armor designs at all. All of them was more like just, okay, I just need to find the best high tier loot that gives the highest damage and that's it. There was no cool designs that made you want to stick to that specific weapon regardless of the quest you did. I did a lot of quests in the first map and what it was. The one where you meet Giata. I don't know if I'm saying it right, Giata. That's where I did all my quests and the rewards were pretty mid, I'll say that. Most of the time it's just the same armor but a high quality. The skins on the gun aren't that cool for you to want to stick with it and upgrade it either. Same goes for the armor. The upgrading isn't even that worth it unless you grind a lot and do side quests and harvest stuff around the map. But I would say also to save up money and just buy the highest loot you can. But at the same time that's also hard. So yeah, the weapon and armor designs in this game is really disappointing. For the companions in this game, it really sucks. Not much detail was really put into them. The dialogue is bland when chatting with them. It's also bland when you first meet them and also help them, and a lot of the time they complain. My personal favorite would have been Derek because he's the only genuine person I liked from the start, and instead he wasn't added as a companion. Giata is also a good companion, but I never brought her with me most of the time, so maybe that's why I never heard her complain. Morris and Kai, they are really bland companions, like when it comes to dialogue, and even when they talked about their backstory, it wasn't interesting at all. With the pink hair girl, it was 50-50 both nice and annoying. And also, I still don't get why we didn't have the feature where we could dress up our companions. Like, why not make us give our companions high tier armor or like artifacts or anything, or like weapons, because companions in the game when it comes to fighting, they suck so badly. I'm not even joking. I'm pretty sure they did a patch or someone had to do a mod where they fixed that. The damage companions do in this game is atrocious. So I felt like they should have added a feature where we can give them our armor and weapons, because why not? Boss fights. Boss fights are basically an end goal achievement, you know, like the Nether Dragon or a Dark Souls game or Elden Ring game. You get the point. But when it comes to this, the boss fights in this game is straight up boring. I remember the first boss fight was a bear, if I remember correctly, and that fight wasn't cool, it wasn't scary, but it just gave me a straight face the whole time while spamming my weapons. Same goes for Lodwyn. Why make her an important character just for not once but twice fight her, and if she's going to be an endgame boss, spoilers by the way, at least make her do cool stuff instead of giving her 3 hearts while summoning monsters. Like maybe give her a bigger health bar with more powers and different animations. Instead, it felt so boring, especially knowing after defeating her, the game is over. Literally, the game is over. The same fighting animations from the first time you meet her, she just uses it in the second one, but the only new animation she gets is when you defeat her, her health bar go all the way down, she bows down, she asks for help, summons a few monsters, and you have to do it 2 more times. That's literally it. Just one new animation and that's it. So yeah, the boss fights in this game is pretty bad. Overall, this game was a solid 5 out of 10 for me. It would have been 4, but I didn't drop it somehow. I managed to complete it by streaming it every day. So I honestly look forward to a sequel. Not at all. But the game was, like I said, a decent game. I know I bashed it a lot, like, I mean, the video says what went wrong with it. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you had the choice to play it and you had Game Pass, would I say play it? I mean, sure, why not? It's not like it had bad performance at all. You know, like it was buggy, the game kept crashing and all that. It can make you complete it, just that you have to have a strong will to somehow skip all the dialogue, the yapping and all that, and then get used to the repetitive fighting non-stop monsters in every corner of the room. But I mean, at the end of the day, I still completed it, and yeah, 5 out of 10, I think that's a good rating. I hope they don't make another Avowed, but if they do, maybe don't make it like this one, because this one was really bad. When it came to the armor system and all that, like I said, armor system, weapons, companions, map, movement, the limitations and the boss fights, there's so many wrong things with this game, which is why after it released it completely died. So if they do make another Avowed, hopefully they learn from this, because seriously man, I'm not gonna play Avowed 2 if it's gonna be like Avowed 1. You know, at that point I'm out. But other than that, it's time to wrap up this video. So yeah, I'd appreciate subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.